In today's episode, we are going to spill some tea on the legends in the design world. They're one of the first designers that all industrial design students learn about in college. Most of us know them for their breadth of successful furniture design work. Let's get brewing with Charles Oman Eames Jr. and Bernice Alexandra Ray Kaiser Eames.
Hello friends, type below.
In 1912, Ray was born in Sacramento, California.
God, your diamonds don't dance like this.
In 1933, she graduated college and then moved to study abstract expressionist paintings with Hans Hofmann. Her painting skills stood out the most to one particular person. In 1940, she went back to college, Cranbrook Academy of Art in Bloomfield Hills, Michigan, this time to study other forms of art.
Charles was born in St. Louis, Missouri in June 17, 1907. He also had an elder sibling called Adele.
Hello. Hi, how are you?
He studied architecture studies at Washington University in St. Louis, but did not complete. After 2 years, he was expelled because of his interest in modern architects like Frank Lloyd Wright. After starting his architectural practice, in 1930, he made the Sweetser House, St. Mary's Church, St. Mary's Catholic Church, the Meyer House, Dinsmore House, and the Dean House.
In 1940, Charles Eames and his friend Eero Saarinen decided to enter the MoMA design competition with an inexpensive mass production chair.
And it all began with a chair.
Charles, where did the classic Eames chair come from? Did it come to you in a flash as you were shaving one morning?
It sort of came to me in a 30-year flash.
They wanted to make a bent plywood chair that could be mass produced with the machines at that time. But in the end, they both failed. However, Charles being Charles never gave up. He kept iterating on the concept, and in the end, they won the competition. Remember, Ray went back to college to pursue other forms of art? Well, at that time, Charles was teaching at the Cranbrook Academy of Art, and that is where they met. Ray was helping Charles with the MoMA competition he was working on. But Charles was already married and had a kid.
They were so in love that both sent love letters to each other. While Charles was still married. In 1942, Charles Eames, an architect who never got his license, married Ray Eames, a painter who rarely painted.
In 1942, Ray and Charles got married and moved to California to start a design office. But this time was not good for any business because of limited supplies to start a successful office, the Eames decided to make splints for the US Army.
But why splints?
Because they sucked.
Remember all the plywood experimentation that Charles and Eero did? Using all the info they had, the Eames decided to make the splints using plywood for better stability. They successfully mass-produced 150,000 pieces. After the war in 1945, with everything they learned while designing molded plywood splints, they applied that to a chair. This was the basis of all Eames-style designs. The Eames office successfully ran for a decade, from 1943 to 1988. It was located at 901 Washington Boulevard, Venice, California.
We're in New York to introduce a new chair for Herman Miller.
Eames' work impressed a furniture manufacturer in Michigan. Herman Miller, the furniture company, started an iconic partnership after the war that still exists today. Herman Miller still makes the Eames-style chair from the 50s and the other iconic designs produced by the Eames office. Due to the gain in popularity for good design worldwide and people getting more familiar with the mid-century modern designs, the original Eames furniture has now become a hot topic in the resale and auction market.
Oh, and they built a house. But not just any house though. The Arts and Architecture magazine sponsored a housing project. Remember Eero Saarinen, the friend who helped Charles build his first ever plywood chair? They both designed the case study house number 8 as well. But in 1945, it was Ray who helped Charles finish building the house. Due to the shortage of resources after World War II, they utilized wartime and industrial materials to complete the house. It is now known as the Eames House, located at 203 Chautauqua Boulevard in Pacific Palisades, California. The Eames were more than just furniture designers. They were multifaceted and saturated creatives who defined the mid-century modern style. We hope you got something out of this. Stay tuned for more such content and keep brewing.